Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 29th. I'm Phil Streible, Chief Market Strategist at Blue Line Futures Metals Minute, episode 711. And it's a mixed picture across the markets overnight as we set up here for a very busy Wednesday. I'll be traveling back to Chicago this afternoon as traders brace for a packed slate of corporate earnings and key macro events. So Microsoft and Meta will have results here along with the Fed decision taking center stage. So looking at the overnight price action in the precious metals, we're seeing August gold bounce near that $4,000 an ounce, recovering some of its losses and trading near 40.30. This is down about 0.2%. And silver futures, they've risen about 0.5%, trading at 57.78. And copper futures declined 0.6%, down at 6.32 per pound. Copper is one of the markets on my short idea list, along with crude oil and also Bitcoin. Not a recommendation, really just waiting for a signal out there and checking in on the gold-silver ratio, sitting at about 69-1. So into the Fed decision here, traders are eyeing the possibility of a surprise hike as patience with high inflation is starting to wear thin. Now, JP Morgan's market intelligence scenario shows a 28% probability that the central bank will keep rates unchanged while sounding an accommodative structure on inflation outlook here. This would trigger a gain somewhere between 0.5% and 1% on the S&P 500. That's according to JP Morgan. Now, looking at the equity markets here, AI remains in the spotlight with SK Hynix tumbling after forecasting a record outlay of at least $31 billion in capital spending this year, a jump around 50% year over year. The concerns about this overinvesting in AI is really what's grappling with some of these tech stocks. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are both about 0.2% higher. Remember, on the gold front, if you're trading August gold, you're going to want to roll that over to October or December this week. Now, checking on the ETF flows from yesterday, the exchange-traded funds, they only cut about 11,000 troy ounces of gold in their holdings and 637,000 troy ounces of silver in their holdings from the previous trading session. You could see that a little bit coming more out of that silver market than the gold market, with hedge funds near 6-month highs here on their net long position. Now, shifting to the technicals here on the precious metals, we continue to see gold and silver both trading in a sideways fashion with 4,000 as your close-in support. Below that, the double bottom near the June 30th 39.5540 and July 17th near 39.63 would be your next support levels. The resistance is really near 41.50, where a break above could open up the door for a larger move higher. At that point, we would have some of the technical indicators pointing to a more positive picture, and we'd start to get some of those trend following funds back into the market. Now, looking at silver future, really trapped here between 60 and 55, seen on July 17th, and it would take a break above 60 to really open up the door for 61.50 and 63 as a possible test higher. Now, checking in on the CME's Fed Watch tool ahead of this Fed meeting here, expectations for that interest rate hike sitting at about 33%, with the 2-year Treasury yield at 4.31, the 10-year at 4.62, and the consensus is really that the central bank will raise rates in September. Looking at the earnings here, out of 187 S&P 500 companies that have reported so far, 86% have beaten analyst forecasts, 11% have missed. Checking in on Europe and Asia, because this is where the fireworks were at really last night with Asia. European stocks, they slipped following a flurry of bank earnings here, with UBS and Deutsche Bank here announcing some fresh buybacks. Now, you go to Asian trading. Asian stocks declined for a second straight day here with the sell-off in South Korea and the chip makers really deep in here. So the MSCI Asia Pacific Index fell 2.3% before paring its losses, though less than 1%. And I believe that's why you got that recovery in the NASDAQ here overnight. So keeping an eye on the dollar index here, and really this Fed decision. They keep rates unchanged. They sound a little bit more accommodative here. We could see a big move in all the metals, all the energies, all the currencies, and the stock indices as well. So expect some fireworks out there. If you guys got any questions, shoot an email, info@bluelinefutures.com. I just sent out the metals edge here a second ago. If you'd like to see that, let us know. I'll shoot that out to you too. Gives you out your key level support resistance, some of the things that I'm watching, gives you the biases that I have into this market on a day-to-day basis as well. So remember that futures and option trading does involve risk of loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.
Futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and may not be suitable for all investors. Therefore, carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition.